It didn't work for them today, but it certainly worked for Aston Villa. As I said, they were brilliant.
But for Villa, it's 19 games unbeaten in all competitions at Villa Park. What does that do to the belief in trying to nail down a top 5 place?
Yeah, a huge belief. And they've just had a taste of Champions League football this season as well. They'll be desperate to get back in there, that's for sure. And what Unai Emery has done, he's built a really strong squad. And again, you look at the subs off the bench, the people who didn't even get on perhaps off the bench today. They've got real strength and depth that maybe Newcastle are still lacking a wee bit actually when you look at their bench. But again, yeah, worthy winners for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point. The fact that they went out of the Champions League in midweek gave those players a real taste of wanting more of the same, right, next season. Well, it almost heightened the need for a win today.
Absolutely, no doubt about that. They've had a brilliant run in the Champions League, and the atmosphere that has been at Villa Park this season in Champions League games, in particular, the one that's just gone on Tuesday, the PSG. I was lucky enough to be there, and they'll want more of that. They'll be desperate for that. That's what Newcastle tasted the previous season as well. Again, against PSG was one of the best atmospheres at St James's Park. So you've got two clubs who in the last 2 years have had a small taste of what their football club is all about. Villa were the better team today. They took, I think, great belief and confidence from their result on Tuesday, even though they got knocked out. They've been mixing it with the big boys in that competition. And you can see there's no doubt that both teams want more of that this season. That's what their season is based on now.
And that was a good team effort from Villa, wasn't it, Shay? The goals were shared around, and some of them were well-worked goals too.
Yeah, brilliant goals. I mean, you can see the team shape, you know, the phases of play that Unai Emery must work every single day with his team. Bodies in the box, committing bodies forward. And again, it was 4 goals, could have been more.
Yeah, one of the goal scorers, in fact, scorer of Villa's 4th goal, Amadou. Onana joins us now from Goodison Park, I should say. Congratulations, Amadou, from Villa Park. Well done. I mean, that is a massive result for your top 5 hopes.
Yeah, big result, big result. Obviously, it wasn't easy to take the knockout of the Champions League, but we took it on the chin, and we knew that this was the best way to react in front of our home crowd. They've been amazing, supporting us. So yeah, great performance from the team. Really pleased tonight.
When you went in at half-time, 1-1, did you feel like you should have had more to show for your domination?
No, I think we started the game brilliantly well. I think they reacted quite quickly. But it's part of the game. You know, we were facing a team that's been outstanding the last couple of weeks. So yeah, we knew that we needed to be on our best day to be able to get a win here.
Adama, what a brilliant finish. I was wondering what your message from the manager was. Was it for you to stay defensively and keep it nice and tight? It didn't say go on and put one in the top corner, did he?
to be honest, he didn't. But what he did say is that we needed the 3rd goal because we knew that Newcastle are really dangerous and they don't give up until the final whistle. Obviously, when I got the ball, I can hear don't shoot, but you know, I think this was the thing to do. I just tried it. I don't think that it gets any better than that top corner. I'm really happy.
Amadou, what's the team spirit like? Because the manager's having to rotate players like yourself. You in midweek and sort of left out again today or rested today. What's the team spirit like within the squad? It must be buzzing at the minute, eh?
To be honest with you, it's unbelievable. It's amazing. It's a great group of guys. You know, no matter if you play, you don't play, you're here to support the team. We all get behind the starters, and obviously, when you get the chance to get on, you need to show why you deserve to be out there. I think the competition within the team is really high. The spots are really pricey, so yeah, you need to be on your best game to be able to start week in, week out.
It extends your incredible run of form at Villa Park. What's the secret behind it?
The villains. It's as easy as that.
Yeah. And that smile says it all. I love the celebrations with you and the supporters afterwards. I mean, you clearly enjoyed yourself.
Absolutely. I mean, this is why we do it as well. Like I said last week, it wouldn't be a beautiful game without them. You know, we do it for them as well, and this is my way to show my appreciation.
And finally, how big a statement is that win against a fellow top 5 hopeful?
Obviously, it's a big win. Like I said, Newcastle are, fighting as well for the European spots. But, you know, this doesn't mean anything. We still got, I think, 5 games to go. So we need to keep our heads down and keep working hard.
Well, best of luck with it. Well done today at Villa Park.
Well done.
Well done.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Amadou Onana with that thunderbolt goal for Villa's 4th. I mean, that almost was the cherry on the cake, wasn't it, for them?
Yeah, it was a stage. It was a case of how many Villa were going to get at that stage. And he got himself into a brilliant position, backing them up just in case that ball came back. You can see straight away what he's thinking. Head down, hit the target, and it was a fantastic strike.
You know, this Villa Park, we are very strong here. You know, and against a tough opponent, they were in a good way performing, and you know, we finished that run. So I'm just really happy with the team performance, and yeah, it's a good win today.
You talked about the opponent, a difficult opponent, a rival opponent for this Champions League position that you're all fighting for at the moment. But what a reaction from the team to the disappointment of what happened in midweek.
Yeah, we take that disappointment in these games. You know, we still have a lot of important games in the Premier League, and we wanted to get the Europe place, so we are fighting and give everything for that. And yeah, today just special, you know. So many goals, beautiful goals. So yeah, really good team performance, and really happy.
If you were ranking your goal, was that a beautiful goal for you, your first in the Premier League?
Yeah, it was a nice one. Just set up, you know, and luckily Oli saw me, and I just had to just finish it in, you know. And yeah, great goal.
And now quickly you have to recover because you're going to another rival opponent next week, Tuesday night, Manchester City. What kind of challenge do you feel they will present to you?
It's the same, you know, away from home is always tough, but I think we believe in this team, and I believe in this team, and we will go there, and hopefully we get the 3 points and we fight like we did today.
Recover well, go well, thank you.
Thank you.
And he picked up his first Premier League goal for Aston Villa. Personal milestone. In the grand scheme of things, a big win for Villa.
Yeah, huge. And he says Tuesday night, obviously, is coming quick and fast as well with Man City away. But we covered
another Shay given derby.
That is, isn't it? But we covered that game earlier, didn't we? And if you looked at both performances, Aston Villa are streets ahead of Man City's performance today. They really were so strong, so powerful. We talked about the strength and depth they have as well. And I think Man City, if Pep Guardiola's at home watching that game tonight, I think he'll have a few sleepless nights before Tuesday, because he's playing against a team full of confidence, full of goals, and as Onana even said before, they're all fighting to get in the starting 11. He's got great options.
I've seen a lot of Newcastle's games recently, and what they've done to opponents is overpowered them with their energy, with their commitment in tackles and all over the park. But Aston Villa did to Newcastle today what Newcastle have been doing to others. They dominated in every area of the pitch. They had more energy. They won most tackles. Tactically, I think they were better set up, and Newcastle couldn't handle Rodgers in the hole. If he wasn't in the hole, then Ollie Watkins is in the hole. They weren't sure whether to go in tight. When they did go in tight, then they left space in behind, and then someone ran in behind. And I just think they deserved the win today. They were much better right from the very off. I mean, Newcastle went in at half-time 1-1, but we all said they were very fortunate to do that because they hit the woodwork a couple of times. They had a couple of big chances that they perhaps should have done better in. So every area of the pitch, defensively, midfield and up front, they were much better than Newcastle did today. And there's not many times recently a team has done that to Newcastle, if any, in the last sort of 2 months, you know.
Isn't it strange how things turn around so quickly? I mean, we're talking about how all the momentum was with Newcastle going into this game.
Yeah, but that's football, you know. Sometimes you just say, you know, OK, we've been done by the better team today, and Newcastle will have to do that and say, it's just been a bad day at the office. They lacked energy. They look really tired. When they've been playing on the front foot and dominating teams, Villa did that to them today.
Yeah, bad day at the office for Newcastle. It was a good day for Ollie Watkins, who on another day could have had a hat-trick, but he certainly got Villa up and running after just 33 seconds.
Yeah, great day. And again, we talk about competition for places. Would have been raging when he didn't start in against PSG during the week. Perfect start, wasn't it? I mean, we think there's a bit of luck involved in a couple of things here, because obviously Sandro Tonali goes down into the corner, clears these lines and falls to Tielemans. And then I think because Sandro went so deep, he plays everyone onside. So he clears the ball up, and then you can see him, we keep him in shot, top right. Watkins has a quick look at him, knows he's going to be onside. But I think if you see Asensio here, I think Tielemans is trying to pass it to him. Watch his run here. And then Shearer just got attracted to Asensio. Then Watkins nips in and sort of nicks it off him, doesn't he? And again, if you see it from behind the goal, he gets a bit of luck because it comes off Shearer, and you know yourself, deflection can go anywhere, and it's just ended up in the back of the net.
Yeah, but Newcastle not clearing their lines, that didn't sit well with you, did it?
No, but you can't really fault for Tonali for that. He does ever so well in tracking back. I know it's very early in the game, but he does get rid of it as far as he can. And there is an element of luck to the Aston Villa goal, but there was no element of luck to the Aston Villa result and the victory that they've had. But yes, the little deflection, was it the pass for Watkins or was it for Asensio? In the grand scheme of things, Villa won't be bothered about that at all. And you mentioned Ollie Watkins. What he does really, really well is he's an absolute nightmare for defenders, because defenders hate turning and running towards their own goal, and he is brilliant at that. He's one of the best in the league, and he makes it really uncomfortable for the defenders, and he really did that today with Shay and with Dan Burn, with his spinning in behind, because even if he doesn't get the ball, what that then does is that it pushes Newcastle back further 5 or 10 yards, but then in front that creates the space for Morgan Rodgers.
The others.
And that's where Villa punished Newcastle today.
Yeah, you mentioned Shearer there, and he got Newcastle level.
Yeah, he did. The Newcastle did well in terms of keeping the ball alive. The big punt into the box. They can't win that one. They don't win that one, but they keep it alive. And then Harvey Barnes' first thought is get the ball into the box, because the two centre halves are up there, in Shay and in Dan Burn, so you might as well put the ball in and see. And he puts a really good ball into Shay, and he pulls off onto the far post, onto Maatsen, one of the smaller guys onto the pitch, and he would fancy himself in the air to beat him, and that's exactly what he did. And it's a really good header. He heads it down in a tough, difficult position for the goalkeeper.
Yeah. What about Emi Martinez here?
No, I think that you'd be really cruel to blame him. It really comes at you quick. Manish, it really does, and he tries to close his legs. Probably one of the positions as a goalkeeper you hate the most, through your legs. Trying to get your legs closed from a couple of yards is really difficult. But as Al rightly says, it's quite refreshing to see a ball come in the box and obviously one of your centre halves go up and attack it.
Yeah. I mean, we went into the second half, it was all square, and whether Newcastle could take the game to Villa. And actually, it's carrying on in a similar vein. Villa then just went from strength to strength. 64 minutes on the clock. Ian Maatsen made it 2-1. And again, down that left side, Villa were getting plenty of joy.
Well, we said at half-time, didn't we? There's a lot of joy coming down this side and nothing changed. I don't think Tyndall changed anything at half-time. It's a brilliant run from the full-back, and we'll look at it again in the replay, how it got to that. We mentioned about, outnumbering in them pockets. I think Trippier and Murphy both get attracted to the ball. Rodgers spins around the corner. Now Maatsen's got a run on Murphy. The way to pass is perfect. And again, take nothing away from the young full-back. It's a brilliant finish. But again, I think Trips probably should stay in the back four. Maybe it doesn't happen, but I think Villa, the way, as Alan mentioned before, tactically, I think outclassed them today on all areas of the pitch.
And because that was the pattern of play in the first half, how disappointed were you, Alan, that came down that side again?
No, they were a constant threat. I think their movement off the ball, and certainly their pace of the play when they had the ball, caused Newcastle all sorts of problems down that side. It was the same in the first half, and there was no change to it in the second half, and that goal sums that up.
Villa's third was a well-worked team goal. In the end, though, credited to Dan Burn as an own goal.
Yes, it's very similar again. Really good play from Villa. They're keeping the ball moving. I think at this point, they can't get... You talk about people in the pockets. That's Watkins in the pockets, playing it wide. And again, 1v1 on Trippier. He gets a dangerous ball. There's a bit of unluckiness because it hits off Shearer's ankle and it hits off Dan Burn's ankle. But again, look at this. They're outnumbering him on the wings. And down this same side again, I don't know if it's something that Unai Emery's worked on leading up to the game. They're outnumbering him down this Newcastle's right side, Villa's left side. And again, it's good attacking play. Yes, there's luck because it comes off Shearer's ankle and it comes off Dan Burn, but nothing that they didn't deserve, Villa. They really didn't. I mean, the only concerning thing from Newcastle, why didn't they change it? Even at 1-1, they were on the ropes, Manish. And my argument would be, why not sew it up? Why not be ugly? Why not be more defensive? They were way too open and giving away too many easy goals. Yeah,
I would agree with that. I mean, that hasn't typically been Newcastle of late, so it is a bit of a surprise that they were that open, and their back four was being dragged all over the place, particularly down the side of Trippier and Murphy, whether the Villa were going short or go long, and then they're trying to play out from the back here, Newcastle, and they get caught. I mean, that's a really, really good save, but Villa keep the ball alive again. And I mean, we spoke to Amadou, didn't we, about how nice the ball was and inviting for him. I mean, I don't know, he's trying to hit that ball in there. I think it's Tonali that's making that run, but Onana reads it really well. Poor ball, pressing Villa, they get that right as well. But they keep the ball alive after a really good save from Nick Pope. And it's so inviting for Onana to go and hit this. There's just enough pace on it, and he whips it past Nick Pope with such pace, he's got absolutely no chance.
Yeah, Nick's looking through loads of bodies at this point as well. Manish, he can't see anything and take nothing away from Onana. That's why he's got a huge smile in his interview. That's a brilliant finish.
Yeah. Just as he told us. He enjoyed it. And certainly milked every second of it. And look at Villa now. I mean, heading to the last 5 games of the league season. The Sea of Green, 5 straight league wins in the Premier League, and the momentum certainly is on their side. Ironically, Newcastle done exactly that going into today's game, but it wasn't to be. Post-match reaction from their defender, Kieran Trippier now.
Kieran, it was always going to be difficult, a Champions League rival opponent that are challenging you for those places as well. But second half, they just seemed to blow Newcastle away.
Yeah, we started, obviously, they scored straight away, but a good reaction from us in the first half. But all I can say is full credit to Villa. You know, they're a top side, top manager, and yeah, it was way past our best today. That's why you got to give credit to Villa. They played very well and a strong team.
I know you were on this winning run, but in a way, was it a game too far for you? Because the team has been unchanged as well for quite some time recently.
No, I don't think so. I think you go into every game to win with that mindset. You need that winning mentality. Today we was confident, but again, Villa played very well, and they deserve the victory.
But could tiredness could that kick in because of the run and the performances that you've been putting in with the same team?
No, we can't use that as an excuse. You know, the manager picks the 11. Obviously, it's been unchanged for the past couple of games, but that's no excuse. We've got no excuses today. Villa just played much better than us. They deserve the 3 points, but we've got 5 massive games to go. And we've just got to focus on the next game, which is Ipswich. Ipswich, I say. Yeah,
that's just it. You've got a week to recover before going into that match, and in a way, you're still in a good position to achieve what you want to do.
Yeah, we want to qualify for the Champions League. Today was a setback, but now we've got a full week to recover and focus and analyse where we went wrong today, because yeah, there's so much that we can analyse, and we will do that next week when we regroup and we just focus on the next game.
So where does this leave us in the race for the top 5? Alan, this is your favourite bit, judging by what you said earlier, because it's always tough to predict what happens in the Premier League on a week-to-week basis, never mind the next 5 or 6 games. Ipswich at St James's Park next up for the Magpies to bounce back from that disappointing defeat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be too disrespectful to Ipswich, but if you want a game so soon after taking a beating, then you'd want the team in a relegation zone at home, and they've got that, Newcastle. So I thought Kieran Trippier, everything he said in his interview there was right. They've been beaten by the better team. They didn't deserve anything today. Well done, Aston Villa, and they'll have a couple of days off. They deserve that. It's been a tough time for them, and they'll move on. But it is a great game to come back to, there's no doubt.
Yeah. And after what we've seen today, Shay, and considering that Forest and Chelsea aren't in the greatest run of form, do you think your 2 other former sides, City, Villa, are the strongest contenders?
It tees up that game lovely for Tuesday night, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously, Man City v Aston Villa on Tuesday night. That is a huge game. It's hard to pick. You know, when you look at that graph there and you think they'll win that, they'll lose that. And then football in the Premier League, it's very difficult to say what's going to happen, you know. But again, going back on today's performance, City are still not firing at all. They really aren't firing. And Aston Villa are the absolute opposite to that. You know, it was 4 today, going on 6 or 7. They were that good. So they'll be relishing going to Manchester on Tuesday night. As Alan said about Newcastle, you know, Ipswich at home, that's a great one to bounce back from. And Chelsea have really had a real sticky patch at the wrong time. Forest, I still believe, and I said at the start of the show, I think I'll drop out of it, but, you know, they could prove me wrong as well, go to Tottenham on Monday night as well. Which
they might have eyes on other things.
Well, they could have, but again, you know, Tottenham had a good result in Europe, so they'll want to back that up with a home victory Monday night.
I think when you're looking at the fixtures there's no doubt, in my opinion, I think Chelsea have the toughest running.
Yeah, they do.
With those fixtures. I mean, the league might be done for Liverpool. Obviously, Newcastle is a huge one, and that last game against Nottingham Forest, it could be playing for everything in that game, who gets into a Champions League place. So that, for me, is the toughest running for Chelsea.
Yeah, minor setback for Newcastle, but it's not the worst, is it? You're still in a
you just
position.
got to accept it. Look, they've had an incredible time and an unbelievable season. And the grand scheme of things, you look at the big picture. They've got a trophy. They sat in 3rd with what, 5 games left.
Yeah.
They would have snapped your hands off for that at the beginning of the season.
Yeah. Villa, great win, but still work to do.
Well, still work to do for all them teams. It's so tight. The race is on, Manish.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And the race is on for us to get out of here. That's it from us. My thanks.